Steven, Justin, and Jill here. Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Steven Jack Butala with Justin Sliva.
And Jill Dewit, broadcasting from sunny Southern California and
Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. Today, Justin and Jill and I talk about, every Friday, Finance Friday, and the deals that we're doing.
And I get to be a guest today.
And I know you love that.
I know.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com community. It's free.
Before we get into this, can I talk about what we just were talking about? Because it was so flippin' funny. So we're doing two shows back to back right now and recording two shows back to back. And Justin's the only one that did the costume.
Easy.
Steve and I are like, yeah, whatever.
You outed me here. You outed me. I was like, oh, well.
Jill and I this is show number 908 for us, and Justin's show number 12 or something. So he's still excited, We're just done with it.
That's right. It's great. He's got Jessica standing with a shirt.
Yeah, she's in makeup. I'm using the kids. They threw me a bottle of water so I could just out my throat. They're like, all right, you got 2 minutes, Dad.
Go.
Go. My son's crawling under my desk right now to get out.
That's awesome. This is so good. Steve and I have got our feet up sitting in recliners.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
We're both a little buzzed for the night last night.
Yeah, it's like, doesn't matter.
Take another shot.
Eye drops in right now.
I went to bed at 8:45 last night. Now I feel horrible.
That's awesome. Actually.
Yeah, we just went to bed early. We watched Jack Ryan.
Wait, can I ask?
Oh, good.
Oh, cool. Hey, how was your birthday? Last week.
It was good. Yeah, it was good. It was pretty low key on the day before, but me and my wife went out the weekend before. We went to. It's the first time we've actually had a date, just us two.
Oh.
I bet probably 5 or 6 months. It'd been a while, and I've been asking her. She's like, doesn't want to leave the new baby with people, so we went to this Mexican restaurant, and I'm like, that we normally go to, and I was thinking we're gonna split a picture of margaritas, and she's like, oh, I want this jalapeno margarita. So then I started drinking rum and cokes, and 9 later at the second bar we're at, and some great people watching. There's a cool funk band on, so it was a lot of fun. So
that's how the fourth child happens.
Yeah.
No.
Careful.
No. Unless I have another wife, the doctor took care of that one. So if there's a fourth child come involved, you're going to see half the wall behind me. She's going to take half of everything.
Every once in a while, Justice says some really Texan stuff.
Okay.
Maybe I'll get another wife then.
No.
Yeah.
We don't let that happen in California.
Yeah.
You guys. All right. I will read the question now. I will save this now and read the question. Brandon asks, I have a money partner that I started mailing to purchase houses. Nice. And just closed on our first house, and he's in the process of fixing it up and will be selling it soon. Now that he has seen that this actually works, he asked if we could mail 2 multi-family apartments to try to pick up one at a discount.
This is perfect for Justin.
Yeah.
Good question.
Obviously we can, and I know how to get the data, but my question is, do you send out blind offers for apartments too? If so, how would you price them? Because apartment values based on the net income and cap rate, how would you know what that is? Or do you offer on a per unit price? But that way again, could be way off because it really depends on the income of the property. Mm-hmm. I was just curious if anyone has done this and how they did it. I was also thinking of just sending out a no offer letter, but I am afraid I would get bombarded with calls.
Don't ever do that.
That's true.
Really quickly, you know how I say there's some members it's very clear that they're going to be really good at this. This is a member. This is a very, very intelligent question. He's obviously come to us with a bunch of previous real estate experience, and we're probably closing the gaps, hopefully, or filling some pieces of the puzzle.
No,
Justin, I know you guys buy apartments. Tell us how you do it.
No, I actually answered this question for him because it looked like he copied and pasted on the forum, and then he actually sent me this exact same question. So, which is great. And like I explained to him, it's a little bit different when you sell apartments in commercial buildings. You actually run with a letter of intent. Hey, this is what I'm willing to do. This is the price I'm going to offer, and this is how you work through it. And then that opens an inspection period. An inspection period is where you start to adjust your NOI, your cap rate. The idea with the letter of intent is to say, I intend to buy your property. These are the deals that I think are the way I want to do it. What do you think? And the person goes, oh, no, I want this, but I'm willing to talk to you. So let's work from there. And then you start the negotiation process. So it's an extra step compared to like what we do with raw land. You know, you send out an offer, somebody signs and sends it back. So that LOI is how you start that and what that looks like.
Do you offer a price?
I do, yeah.
Yeah,
and
so
it's normally when I go into apartment buying, I'm buying with somebody already. So I'm the guy that's bringing a deal to us. I have funding lined up. And normally the people that I work with, they have anything, their asset class is anything from $100,000 single family to a $7 million apartment complex. And they 500 doors plus, and they have commercial buildings. So normally he knows what an asset class he wants to offer. And we typically go in at like 80 or 90% of assessed value, and which is weird. And you have to watch some of the bigger apartment complexes because they assess values off of one little piece of the property, not the whole thing.
Yeah.
But we'll either do that or we'll offer by door. And
That's
so
what we do.
yeah. And so it's a everybody's like, well, no, the right way to offer on apartments by NOI and your cap rate, and you work through all this. And I'm like, that's the traditional way. Remember, we're not traditional. We're doing something different. And we want to open the conversation. This is a marketing campaign that says, hey, we're going to do this. Because if you offer too much money, you can always back out. If you don't offer enough and they say, hey, we're still interested, but this is what we need, then you could do that. Like I've offered on one apartment complex, I think I offered $800,000. And the guy goes, no, it's going to take $1 million. So we said, okay, great. Show us the books. And $1 million would have been an okay deal. It wasn't a smoking deal, but then he tried to sell us another property as well. So it opened up the conversation to have 2 or 3. I love when I get a broker call me back and he's like, is this a real offer? Well, heck yeah, it is. It's actually a letter of intent. Let me tell you how to do your job real quick. This is not a purchase sales agreement. This is a letter of intent because we're going to tell you how we're going to process this. And we've bought 8 units, quite a few quadplexes, quite a few duplexes. And, every person that we bought for the end user ended up making money off of them as well. So, and I think we sent one out. It was like 500 units and we bought 2 duplexes, 2 quadplexes, and an 8-unit apartment complex.
Off just a 500-unit mailer.
Yeah.
Oh,
and so
what are the numbers on that? Man?
Yeah. So we sold the apartment complex in 3 months. We made $115,000 plus cash flowed every month. That's a little 8-unit apartment complex. So you figure 2 quadplexes essentially.
Yeah.
Wholesaled one of the quadplexes for like $10,000, and then that guy sold it 3 months later for $35,000 profit. So those deals are out there. That's cool. It's the way you approach it and go through it. So.
I cut my teeth buying and selling commercial real estate long before I got into the land business, and this before the internet. So I was faxing overnight, faxing offers, and the terminology that I used back then and we use now is this: based on the very limited information that I have about your property, we're willing to offer X, and we would like to start a conversation about. I'm assuming, and I say right in there, this is not a hard and fast number. It's just the information that we have now based on some stuff. What do you say we open a conversation or a dialogue if you're interested in selling? And I'm sure that the price is going to get adjusted up or down, but let's just start talking about it. And it works really well because the seller decision for a commercial real estate owner, especially if it's apartment buildings or long-term care facilities, which I'm really familiar with, they're responding to the offer because they're sick and tired of doing what they're doing. Yep. It's not because they have a life event or anything. They're just like, I'm sick of the tenant in 2E. I can't take this guy anymore. I'm done with it.
Exactly. There's always something.
Yeah.
Yeah. They cash out, go to their 1031 exchange and move on to the next deal.
Yep.
It's always a churn of money. Just, hey, we're going to size up a little bit, or we have some free capital we want to throw in and make a deal better for us.
Exactly.
So, no, it's great. It's a great question from him. When he sent that to me, I was like, yes. As long as you don't promise to shop DFW, I'll send you anything you want to know.
Yeah.
But that's a great question from it.
So cool.
Yeah, great question.
For me, it just comes back to, I was talking to my team just the other day. We're still trying to teach everyone, like the planet, that there's a better way to find these deals regardless of the kind of deal.
There's a better way to find all real estate.
I was looking, I showed Steven the other day, I have a little sticky note that someone literally taped on my front door. Like, I want to buy your house. I'm like, how much time is this guy? And it looked handwritten, may not have been. Either way, somebody's walking around putting sticky notes on doors, number one. And then I even have a voicemail I showed you the other day too. I'm like, oh my gosh. So, the whole skip tracing voicemail, that's a waste of time. And I'm like, heaven forbid somebody answers. If I answered the phone and you told me you want to buy my house, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's a waste, such a waste. Just send an offer and let them call you.
Yeah, the skip texting's popping up now too. Hey, I'm a real estate agent. I got a bunch of inquiries about your house in your area. So are you willing to sell? If so, let me know. If one of your neighbors are, let me know. And so that's
everybody's going to call and they're going to, they want top dollar.
Yep.
Wish for it.
Exactly. Great.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, yes. $8 million. Thank you.
Yep. I'd love to sell it. $2 million, please.
That's right.
Today's topic is Finance Friday, every Friday here on the Land Academy Show. This Friday happens to be with Justin and Jill.
Mm-hmm.
This is the meat of the show.
Can you imagine if you were Jack, Justin, Jill right now?
Jack, Justin, Jill, the 3 J's.
I put my first, oh my gosh, 3 J's.
And then we had Jessica jump in. So you got Jack, Jill, Jessica, Justin.
Jack, Justin, Jill, and Jack. Jack, Justin, Jill, Jessica.
When we had dinner before the first live event, that's what I was thinking. We were at dinner. I was like, this is Jack, Jessica, Justin, Jill. It's a lot of J's. And then you throw our twins in, Jordan and Jackson. I was like, Jesus, we're J's everywhere.
Jesus too is J.
Yeah, Jesus as well.
Jesus, that's a lot of J's.
That's a lot of, God, no. Oh God, no.
I'm gonna get us all shirts. We're gonna all walk around.
Just another J. That's
just another J.
Whatever.
Any J will do.
Yeah.
That's what Jill says when she's mad at me. Any Steve will do, you know.
Yeah. So deals, huh? Finance Friday.
Justin went first last time. Jill, you go first.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna I had a thing from last week I was gonna share that, a positive and a teaching moment. So my positive is this California. I got this LA County property. It's 5 acres, and it's one of those areas that it's hard to even. I'm like, is that right? I mean, there's just some areas that we all know that they're hard to get some deals in because they're really, really hot, traditionally priced really, really high. But we're able to pick this baby up. Whatever, $15K. It's worth at least $50.
Wow.
The access and what's across the street is phenomenal.
It's amazing.
It's really good. So I am super excited. And it's coming from, the other thing too is like, I'm sure you're looking at this too, Justin. I look at the deals and I look at who it is. And when there's certain people that we know and trust automatically, that by the time it got to me, that it's, it's just really for you to do a last little spot check, make sure nobody missed anything. And then it's, in hours, we're like, yep, done. Put it in escrow. Yep. Kind of thing.
We've been doing this for exactly 21 days.
Yep. And
we have 4 members who have submitted multiple properties. And we have a lot of people who've submitted properties and we've accepted, but there's 4 where they submitted and my answer is almost always yes, just by looking at their name, not even the deal.
Right.
Yep.
So are you developing that too?
Yeah, I've got a couple guys that if I get one from one of my clients, I think we're on like deal number 7 that we've greenlit for him. And if he sends me something, he gets ahead. I check his before I check anybody else's.
Yeah.
And then the cool thing with that type of relationship though is, he had some other people funding for him, some just random people. And then when they quit responding to him, like they couldn't get him on the phone, he couldn't get him text, and he knows he can text me or he can email or we can talk on the phone. If he knows if I'm driving and he texts me, I just call him back and I just talk to him while I'm driving. And he's like, you now have first right of refusal on everything just because of that way it would go. And that's a cool thing. And together, I think we're probably going to generate this year, I want to say close to probably $500,000 in equity just so far this year. I mean, it's just crazy to see what you can do.
He's going to make $250,000 this year with you.
Yep, he could. Yeah. And he's already ramped up, I think he's at 10,000 more at Hoppers, and he's running the data on some other stuff where he goes a little bit more, a little bit deeper than I do on the data when he's buying. He's got a VA that's in like Bangladesh or India, and they go through some stuff a certain way. The guy's at MBA out of there, and he charges him $7 an hour, and he hired him full time. You get 40 hours a week. So he looks at some stuff a little bit different than me, but he's like, I don't really like this county, so I'm only going to offer 15%. And he goes in 15% and he starts pulling these deals out, and you're like, holy mackerel. Yeah. And you're like, man, he's like, well, nobody else was really working there. And, I just thought I'd throw it out. And great person, is a Land Academy member, awesome. And I enjoy working with him. So, so you do develop those names you see pop up. And then you have the other ones. You're like, man, I bet this one's not going to have access. They've sent me 7 and we keep having the same conversation. And you're like, click on it. And there's access is, questionable. And you're like, hey, what you have to ask those questions. So, I think that I can attest and say this for both of us is if you don't see a road to it, don't waste your time with it.
Here's the message, listeners or watchers. Have a high expectation of yourself and the deals that you pull in.
Right.
And then we're just a tool for you.
Yep.
We're happy to be your tool.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's exactly. Me and Adam had that conversation that having that tool in your tool chest is important, and that a lot of people don't have that. I didn't have that opportunity when we started 2 years ago, and when you started in the 90s and you've worked through, y'all built those relationships. And I think that together as we've seen this grow, we've had to recalibrate and say, hey, what are the barrier entries and what can we do to work through those? And we've done that as collectively as a team. I've spent probably 15 days with y'all in LA over the last 6 months. Mm-hmm. And, we say, okay, hey, let's look at it from different perspectives and see what we can do to make it better for all the Land Academy members and the other land investors. So it's awesome.
That's right. 15 days? Gosh, it felt like 45.
Because you kept me up so late. I told you I go to bed at 9 and I'm on jet lag, and then you keep me up till 2 or 3 in the morning.
Steven's always been that way. You turn around, there's another drink. I'm like, holy cow, what happened?
Yeah, that's it. When we met you at y'all's favorite bar there, y'all's bartender, Abby's, we met her, and you're like, she lived like 20 miles from me. We're like, and now we talk still regularly. And when I went back last time, we had dinner, but it's definitely fun to see that. And it's cool how small the world really is, but how big it really is. So
my childhood mentor recently passed away.
Oh man.
He was an industrialist, multi-billionaire
mm-hmm.
from nothing. And his son and I were best friends in high school. So I was always around that, and I worked for them over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got to see at a really young age as a teenager, what's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, start this company. If you work at it, something really huge can happen. So anyway, I was reading his eulogy, and it was very long, took out a whole page of the paper kind of thing, in the Detroit local paper. And one of the things that the writer said, who was known this guy his whole life, he said, this guy was incredibly successful, but what makes him special is how much freaking fun this guy would have.
Yeah.
The toys that he would buy and pay for everybody's stuff. And I was the recipient of that, as a teenager and into our 20s before I left for Arizona. So I modeled my whole thing after that.
You're doing a good job.
I will keep a drink in front of you. In fact,
I love it.
There's a room full of people that we're having fun. They will all get drinks.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I'm like, I got the next round. Let's go. I went out with my commercial guys and my banker. That we were going to Bulls Night Out at the stock show here, and we all go to dinner, have drinks. And there's a couple of capital guys that I've worked with in the past, and we're all sitting there, and we all knew each other, but we didn't all know that we were all that tightly connected. And so we're pulling up to the rodeo, and our banker looks at the tickets, and he got the wrong date. And so it's like the 23rd, and the tickets are for the 22nd. And you see his face just go white, because it's who we use for our commercial deals on our locally in DFW. So he's like looking at me, and he lives a couple houses down from me. So he's like, oh man, what do we do? And his eyes get real big. I said, looks like you're taking us off for drinks. And so we went out and had a big time. But the cool thing was, one of the guys that was in the group, he just sold his business, and they do this specialized thing with high power lines, and I don't know, it was a $1 billion sell. Amazing. And they refinance and do back again. And it's just awesome to see that. And so getting to see stuff like that firsthand, I came from a family that made combined $40,000 as a kid. So seeing yourself getting put in situations where you can learn little bits and pieces and put it back to what you do, it's always a grateful thing to see. You're humbled, but yet your mind gets working as well.
There's $1 billion opportunities out there right now.
Yep. I agree with that.
That's true.
On the flip side, you have to, at some point, you drive yourself nuts if you don't decide what your cap is, where you're comfortable. Because you're chasing this crazy thing for no reason.
Yep.
I'm talking about myself more than
I'm talking about the new
long past Jill's cap, believe me.
Yeah. I keep getting
party for me now. I'm like, whatever, bring it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I keep looking at this carbon fiber Pershing yacht that keeps popping up on my Instagram.
Oh.
So I'm like, I mean, y'all showed me it's possible to have a 40-foot dock, like a 40-foot yacht club, but Texas, it's not normally possible, but could be if I moved to those.
There's a 90-foot dock that I'm waiting for to come up.
Wow.
Like 500 yards from our house.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have a thing about deals, and I'd love to ask Justin, because this is where one of the obstacles that I'm running against, and I want to hear. I'm sure you have this too. I've got some people that are submitting some fantastic deals, and we quickly greenlight them, start the conversation, start the process. They're too slow on their end, and we're losing them because the buyers are starting, or the sellers are starting to make a few phone calls and realizing what it's worth, and they back out.
It's lack of experience.
Exactly. So, like, how do you coach and counsel your guys to, like, when I say open escrow, I kind of mean open escrow.
Like that minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we talked. We had a few guys like that, and it was stuff that was like, we had one, and it segues perfectly into this. We had one that fell apart, and we talk about attitude and how you approach stuff with title companies and building your teams. We had one. The guy had a solid deal, had 21 people that needed to sign the deed. which
oh my gosh,
it was part of a trust. And, and he said something that I would have said too. The closing is an attorney-only state. Attorney says, hey, it's going to be $3,500 to close this. And he goes, what? I'll give you $500. And so he calls and tells me, he emails me right after, and I go, yeah. And he's like, he's just what he told me. Does that sound right? I was like, well, 21 deeds, FedEx cost is going to be about that.
That's cost.
And he's like, oh crap. And I go, just call him back. Tell him you need the HUD estimate for your partner. And so he did, and the price went up. It's like $7,500 to close now. And I'm like, that's what I've done. He goes, what do you want to do? I said, man, we got to pass on this one now. But it's this guy's turned in some awesome deals. And I don't want to take that thing, because he said exactly what my sarcastic butt would have said to somebody. I'd have said, $3,500, I'll get you $500, and I would have done the exact same thing had I not like set back. And that's the thing for me is I'm having to sit back and be the mentor in some cases. And I'm like, So some other guys, they've taken some time to get some information back. They're relying on a VA from somewhere that, it just doesn't get it turned into them and turned back. So I've actually walked away from some deals and said, hey, you took too long. I'm not, can't do it.
Totally.
So,
There's some leverage things that we're going to start building into these. It's a service that we're providing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There's some stuff that, Jill is so good at, and it takes her such a small amount of time to make, and then the spreads on these things are $100,000 or $200,000. We're going to start offering that, like this land advisors thing that I was talking about. It's too easy for us to just say, that we got a perfect guy in Michigan or Ohio to actually list this and sell it. Let's make sure we price it right on the front end and get him involved right from the beginning. And that's kind of an added service.
Right.
Yeah.
So
no, and we do that as we've worked with people in certain areas. We keep that Rolodex and say, hey, this person was able to close for us extremely quickly. Get a hold of them. They're going to charge a good price. And then they already have our docs and fee and everything like that. We do that in Fort Worth, and we have our title company I use for houses in Fort Worth. They're extremely reasonably priced for me, $200 a side. And so like I send that information to them, like, hey, go ahead and get this let. And they know if I send them something or it comes from somebody from me, they're like 3 days turnaround and they'll have clean title. Wow. And so we can close in usually a week to a week and a half with them. So, but it's, again, we talked about that a while back, margaritas and queso, and, just be willing to take them to lunch and build those relationships and do what you say you're going to do. We've done that with I'm trying to think, we fired one closing agent, found another one, and they were in like Washington, I think. And we just send everything to them. They have all our docs, and they're just like, oh yeah, here you go. Here's your paperwork. You're ready to go. So
we're going to release Title Mind here in a couple months at the latest. And it will be a requirement for the people that we fund to use Title Mind.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Super reasonably priced. And we just know, how fast it's going to get done.
Wow.
First name basis with everybody.
Yep. It's awesome. Awesome.
I was going to say too, we talked about this on our advanced call like a week or so ago, and I'm looking at it right now on Steven's spreadsheet. Omar and I are creating a preferred escrow company list, so I'll share that with you.
Perfect.
Share back. There's no reason why we all find one good one. We all should know about it.
Yeah.
And share that with each other. So
there's no competition there at all.
Yep.
No, the faster.
And share the bad ones.
Yep.
Yeah. And to go back to what you said, which I totally agree with, and I'm the same way, man. Time kills deals, whether you're a seller or a buyer. Because like you just said, you're like, forget it, I'm out. Me too. I just allocated my money somewhere else. I'm out.
Yeah.
You took too long. I'm not sure.
Plus, the seller's going to back out. Just please do it in the first couple of days so you don't waste any time.
Yep.
Money.
Yeah. And that's the thing is the allocation of money as we start earmarking. We know closing could take anywhere from 15 to 30 days. That's 15 to 30 days, we're not putting that money back to work. And so as anybody that's private funding knows that, hey, we got to churn this money. We got to keep it moving. So, we talked about that last week on Finance Friday is sometimes just taking a profit and moving on to the next deal, just get it and don't milk it. Let's keep rolling, Exactly. And then one of the things that we're seeing too, and you may come into this, is getting contracts on the back end. Hey, I've got somebody that wants to buy it. They're good thinking about it. So get the purchase and sales agreement as quick as you can. Don't say, hey, they're going to wait till Friday. Get all the paperwork ready to go. And if you're going to a terms deal, because we offer that, we get the contract in place, and we can wait for the payment until Friday if that's when they get paid. But go ahead and make them sign. Don't let them just push you off, because if they do that, they're not serious.
Nope,
so,
right.
But,
well, you've done it again. You spent another 30 minutes or so listening to the Land Academy show. Join us next time where we cover another interesting episode.
And we answer your questions. Post it on our online community, landinvestors.com. It's free.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition. Justin, now's the time for you to plug your companies.
Yeah, thank you. Casual Fridays, REI podcast. We talk quite a bit about the things we see across the different niches. Plum Investment Group help private fund our other land investors, and Land Mule. We're out there. We wholesale deals. So
Cool.
Get your deals funded at landinvestors.com. And this, Justin and I have a similar approach to things, but we actually kind of have a liking for different types of deals right now. So.
Yeah.
There's enough deals to go around.
Oh, you're exactly right. I think both of us have different perks that we like, the things that get us excited. So I like that. I like that mesh.
Me too.
At some point soon, we're going to do one together.
I'm waiting.
Maybe it'll be a boat purchase. Maybe it won't even be a property.
There's nobody that's ever made any money on a boat.
That's what I'm saying. Let's split the loss.
Yeah. I broke even on a boat once. I broke even on a boat, used it for a year, and I was so excited. I was like, yes, I broke even.
That means you won.
Yeah. And then I forget the gas and the insurance and the oil. And
never mind that.
Yeah.
Marital arguments.
And the loss of sleep.
Yeah. It was a 28-foot cuddy cabin. I'm like, Jessica, push us off the shore, because she didn't know how to drive the boat. And we beached it on a beach. And I'm like, pushing us off. And she's like, I can't get it. So,
no.
Then she jumped out and started going. I'm having to swim fast. I'm like, circle around.
No.
That's
funny.
Somebody should write a book called The Stupid Stuff We Ask Our Wives to Do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, actually, Jessica and I will write that book.
Yeah, have fun with
stuff
that.
We've done for our men. Yes, we can do that. That would be a good book.
Yeah.
All right.
Wherever you're watching or listening, please rate us there. Justin, thanks. We'll talk to you next week.